Hello everyone, Eclipse here. For the past month, I've been working hard filming this cooking show miniseries that you're about to watch. It was a lot of fun doing this, and as the year goes along, I may add in more episodes. These recipes are very lax in how you do the spices, and the timing will vary depending on appliance. Each episode will be, for the most part, uncut and about cooking show length, so about an hour. This is to show you guys exactly how long it takes me to cook these recipes. There's most likely going to be one episode that's going to be cut because the cooking time is more than an hour and a bit. Now, just a short thing on the rules. Yes, there are rules I follow when I'm cooking these recipes on a regular basis. These are based on the keto diet, which has played a big part in tackling my diabetes type 1.5. I'm of the few that are sort of in the middle of type 1 and type 2. So I have insulin resistance as well as having to take insulin to keep my sugars from going out of control. I will suggest for those that are like me to do intermittent fasting, as this will help you in maintaining relatively healthy sugar levels and overall health. Okay, rule number 1. When it comes to meals, I generally go with the keto ratios. 70% of my meal has some sort of fat content, whether it's fatty fish, regular ground meat, whole milk, using grass-fed butter, and the use of olive oil or avocado oil. The reason being for this is to help the meal be more satisfying. Carbs is a funny one where only 25 to 50 total grams is needed for the entire day. Moderate protein is about 6 to 8 ounces. This will be enough to keep your body going and the nutrition you need. Again, you want to have a more fattier meat source. Don't be scared about that. Having lean protein leads to triggering higher amounts of insulin and higher blood sugar response. And vegetables, all the vegetables. I count as a 0 when I do my carb counting because of the high fiber within them. Unless you're talking about potatoes or other starchy vegetables. Make sure your vegetables are either organic or from a place that only sprays up to the flowering of the produce. That will reduce the amount of glyphosate that you consume. Potatoes are a weird one. It's low carb when you eat them raw, not green, but high carb when they're cooked. So basically what I do is cut or shred the potatoes in a large bowl, fill it up with cold water so that they're about an inch above the potatoes. Leave for an hour, then carefully drain out the water, put fresh in, and do the same level as before. You may notice that the water is a red color. That is all the pesticides, aka glyphosate, that is coming out of the potatoes. Soak them for hour number 2, and you'll notice that the water is a bit foamy and has more of a white color. That's the starch. Depending on the type of potato, you may want to do an additional soaking or 2 to make sure that you've gotten most of the starches. Your last 1 hour soaking will have your water mostly clear, and you're basically ready to start cooking them right away. At that point, you can dump them into a cheesecloth lined strainer. After that, you do your best to squeeze as much of the water out as you can. You can put this into a Ziploc bag for up to 3 days in the fridge, or throw the shredded potatoes into a hot pan with oil. For things like butter and eggs, get grass-fed, free-run, or pasture-raised products. Now, why would I suggest those instead of regular butter and eggs? Here's the thing that not many know about the difference between grass-fed dairy products and regular dairy products. When farm livestock are pasture-raised and grass-fed, it means that the chickens, the pigs, the bison, and the cows are all out in the fields grazing about 3/4 of the year. And the remaining part of the year, during the winter months, they're kept indoors and have healthy feed such as hay, or in terms of chickens, a healthy grain feed. In normal farm settings, even the pasture-raised livestock, many still give feed grain to their livestock in the morning, much like you would have your breakfast. Talking about chickens, pasture-raised for them is basically letting them eat the bugs around the yard at the same amount of time as the other livestock. The other reason why I suggest grass-fed or pasture-raised is because they're nutritionally dense products. So you get more bang for your buck in that regard. Rule number 2. Don't eat unless you're starting to feel weak. In other means, don't eat unless you're hungry. Eating will stimulate insulin. You have about 1,400 calories worth of sugar in your body, which can easily be used up in about 90 minutes or so. However, you also have about 100,000 calories of fat at all times. Yes, even the skinny ones have this much in reserve. So what I do is a thing called intermittent fasting, where you essentially let your body recycle the old damaged cells and switch over from using sugar as a fuel source to using your fat reserves. This happens at about the 18-hour mark, but for those that are just starting, I suggest you skip breakfast and wait till lunchtime to have your first meal. You be the judge on how you want to start this. For me, I did the not so good way and just jumped to 1 meal a day right away instead of easing into my fasting. It is fairly easy to do 18 hours, as if you eat at around 6 to 9 p.m., you have about 2 hours to have your meal. Then you should be good till about noon or even 1 p.m. or longer, especially if your previous meal was super satisfying. I make my supper my primary meal, where I have the most nutritional dense meal. Then I'm good till about 8 or 9 p.m. or so the next day. Granted, I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm starting to make my meals at about 7, eat at 8 or later, depending on if I am hungry at that point or not. Then I give myself about 2-hour window to have my meal, and that's pretty much it till around the next time I'm hungry. TLDR, no more snacking, and eat when you feel weak. The final rule I do on a regular basis is spices are to personal preference unless specified. This is very important, especially for those who cannot take a lot of spice. And that goes double for when I do my chili and my soft tacos. In those particular recipes, I tend to add cinnamon to enhance the flavor of my food, which in turn tends to make it a bit on the spicy side. So for like the soft tacos, you can substitute the chili sauce for a sweet zucchini relish, sans the cinnamon and the chili powder for garlic or oregano. That was a lot to take in. Don't worry, much of this will be put in the description below. So in short, rule number 1, 70% of the meal is your fat, 6 to 8 ounces of high quality fatty protein, 20 to 50 grams of carbs a day, and all the vegetables you can eat, excluding potatoes and high starchy vegetables unless eaten raw. Rule number 2, don't eat unless you're hungry. And the final rule, number 3, spices are to personal preference unless specified. Sit back and enjoy me prep my vegetables for the month. Trust me, this cuts down on my prep time for each meal doing this. I'm just testing this so you can see me grind. Yes, I got my own personal light behind me. But yeah, so this is just beginning stages of cooking. Thought while I'm doing my chopping, I might as well show you guys exactly what I do for my prep. And this is exactly what I do for prep. I first do my sink, and I'll definitely be doing a redub on the audio of this is going to be the sort of behind the scenes. So yes, I get to prep my food. Got all my bags ready for the freezer. Just gotta make sure that they're open. Haven't done filming in a while. So. But yeah, I'm just getting all my bags ready. Probably do the onion first because that's the part I really don't like chopping. And today I'm doing like 5 big packs, so that'll be like basically one of each, I think. Right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 1, 2. Oh wait, I miscalculated, didn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I did miscalculate. That's right. That sometimes happens with me. Isn't this? Okay. So basically I do 2, 1 of each for the small packs. And then I do a carrot in the big packs because I only have 5 carrots this time around. And half an onion for each of the big packs, so that's 2 onions, just, well, 2 1/2 an onion for this. And then 2 1/2 for this. So 1/4 of pepper goes with these, with each small pack. 1/4 of onion goes with each small pack. That's basically it. So let's show you some of my chopping skills. Where's the one that has the hole? Are you the one with the hole? Yes, you are. So basically I just cut. I always cut the top and leave the bottom because the bottom is the easiest part. So I'm going to go here. So, half an onion. That one I'm going to be doing for the small packs. So, hopefully you guys can see this. I might have to, since I do this all on my own, have to manually zoom in just a little bit. Oops. Zoom in just a little bit. And I'm going to bring this down a little bit. So yeah, you're probably not going to see most of me. Oh, there we go. There we go. So, let's see how this is going to work. Oh yeah, I guess this is a bit better in terms. So I'm going to do my first cut, do my second cut, third, and yes, my hands do shake when I'm using a knife. So it's 3 cuts. Basically, you don't want to go any farther than the butt end. So that's what I'm doing here. It's something I picked up a while back. I just chop it up. And you don't really have to be accurate when you're chopping veg. They'll all cook the same pretty well. With me, I have to stand up and away from the onion because this is an old onion. Start chopping on this side. It's a bit of an old onion, so it's quite potent. Very, 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 very potent. There we go. That's that. And that butt end goes there. So, got part 1 of onion done. This shouldn't take me too long. So yeah, this is kind of like a behind the scenes. How I prep all my vegetables. And I'll probably bring this out. Probably going to be watching this as the first, well, it's going to be episode 0, so it's going to teach you guys how to do all these recipes. And then the first episode, I'll show you one of the recipes. Wow, that is a very potent onion. Holy crap. So, half an onion, I go to 1/4 onion. And then I do the same thing. except I do, what, 3 cuts? 2 cuts. So with this one, I don't need as much. I can go as thin or as thick as I want for chopping. It doesn't exactly matter. Just with onion, as long as they go translucent, that's about as good as you need it. And there we go. So yeah, this is just the beginning stages here. So that small pack, one done. I'm going to be doing the second small pack in just a hot second here. Looks like I got some onion. I can tell this onion is very old. When an onion starts making your eyes water, yeah, it's an old onion. Very old onion. But still really good in flavor. So yeah. And I'll just chop that a little bit because I don't like this one. Okay, we're spell pack number 2. Oh, there's. Really should keep my bags held right. So yeah, doing all the prep work before I start making pepper, and I'm still trying to formulate in my head which recipe I want to do first. So that's number 2. Cut off the top. Always cut off the top, never the bottom. Never the bottom and the top, because if it's an old onion, you want to expose it as less, or you want to expose it to as less air as possible. Because then you're not crying while you're cutting onions. So that's good. It's getting old, but it's not that old yet. So there. So got all my cuts done. Now I'm just chopping these guys up. So yeah. I always do my onions first when it comes to making these packs. The hard part is when it starts when your eyes start watering. That's why I always do it first, because I'm like, okay, eyes are watering, I'm almost done through the pain, or going through the pain, and yeah. So that's that. That goes in there. To the big pack too. So yeah, these big packs I usually do for bigger meals like chili, or if I'm doing Italian, I like having lots of vegetables. Even the stroganoff that I make is has this. So I made 5 full pack, or have all the vegetables for 5 full packs, or 5 big packs. So that's good. Don't have to worry about that. And the reason why I'm holding up the light now, make sure that I don't have any not so good pieces of vegetables in here. Just kind of doing a little bit of inspection while I'm putting these packs away. But yeah, this is just kind of behind the scenes. Don't have to worry about being professional as of yet. God, thank goodness. Because I'm not exactly a professional. And most of these recipes, they're keto, but they're not like totally keto. So there's little cheats that I do, but they run around the same, sort of the same rules as the ketogenic diet. So like low carb, while trying to keep your carbs between 25 and 50 grams. Having a higher fat content as well as a higher quality fat content. That is ready. I have one more I need to cut. Quick, because my eyes are starting to burn. Oh. So yeah. So this is all the vegetable prep. This is basically the most tedious thing to do with cooking. That's why I always like doing all my vegetables ahead of time, throwing them in the freezer, and then just pulling out a pack when I need it. Just makes it a lot easier to cook. Yep, one less step to do. Again, I'm not very accurate. I'm not very accurate when it comes to cutting onions. Well, there. I'm not exactly the best at knife skills either. I try. Ooh, that was terrible. That's right. At least this is a better onion. You can tell by the smell this is a fresher onion. Younger onion. And then I always go like about halfway down and then I switch it. Because you don't want to cut yourself when you're cutting onions or cutting vegetables. You always want to be on the not slipping side of the onion. Or of whatever vegetable you're cutting. So that onion. My board keeps slipping because I don't have the little rubber feedings on them, which is fine. But yeah, this is the tedious bit, but I thought I'd do behind the scenes before I start doing the episode. Show you guys exactly what I do throughout everything. Okay. Good to go. And also shake it to make sure that it's all even across the board. Oh, I actually did a slice this time. Oops. Didn't mean to slice it. I meant to cut it. So yeah, just go right close to the butt end as you can. Don't cut the butt end, because then when you're trying to chop, everything will fall apart. So yeah, and I don't even cut it evenly, so no worries on that. Somebody's coming over there. I needed one more cut anyways. Possibly one more after that. So there. Try to do as much of the onion as I can when I'm doing this. That's why I cut as close to the root as I can. But there we go. So onions are done. I'm happy about that. I don't have to worry about that. This is kind of a country type kitchen, but I don't really need to worry about stuff. And when it comes to cutting onions, always wash your knife afterwards. Because you don't want that acid to be all over your other vegetables and cause them to rot if you're keeping a vegetable pack in the fridge. This is also to prevent cross-contamination between vegetables. So, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter when it's in the bag, but it'll help make them last longer. So yeah, just brush this up. And get the experiment done. But yeah, I always wash my board, always wash. Always have a sink going when you're doing do your cooking. So that way you can do your dishes as you go along. You don't have to worry about them, you just dry them up, put them away right away. And I really recommend you do that. It saves trouble in the long run. You know what, I'll do the pepper next. So if you get peppers that have the 4 little humps on them, that actually helps with knowing where the quarters are, and then you just basically slide them around the pepper, boom. Line up your knife again. Cut it right to the stem, so you don't have to worry about if it's accurate or not. So usually it goes like that. It's a little crude, but I know professionals do it a different way, but I get a lot more pepper this way. I have very little waste, and it's just, I find it's a lot better. Not looking for perfection, never will look for perfection when it comes to the cooking. As long as it's cooked and cooked right, that's all I really strive for. But really getting all those little white bits off isn't really necessary, but it's just to make it look nicer. But again, I'm a bit country, so I don't really look for that type of stuff. So 2 smalls, very small and big. I guess that's the only big one. Okay, so I'll do this one. So yeah, you just slice them like here. I'll just come on to this side just so you guys can see about like that thickness. That's about what you want for your green pepper slices. Yeah. So yeah, I bend over, I make sure. Normally I don't do this, but my counter is a little short for me, so basically now that they're sliced, just chop them off. Doesn't matter if they're big pieces, small pieces. I mean, if they're like diced size, like let's get that little piece off. So yeah, if they're like, I don't know if you, here, let me go back around and show you. Like if they're about like that size, that's about the size that you want for green pepper. I just make sure that they don't cook too fast. And when it comes to the carrot, I always like cutting the carrots a lot smaller than the green pepper. But again, you don't have to be like completely accurate and fuss over that. I never do. I just drop the knife when I think it's big enough or small enough. So, I know I have like different knife skills than what some of the professionals do, but it gets the job done. I'm fine with that. And if they're like all different sizes, they'll all cook about the same anyways. One of the good things about green pepper is they tend to cook exactly the same, doesn't matter how big you cut them. They're about the same thickness as, well, they're the same thickness towards each other, so you don't have to be accurate in terms of how big you make your diced peppers. So here we go, put my peppers in. still have 2 more vegetables to chop for that pack. Four more big packs and 2 small packs. The small packs will be a lot quicker because all I've left is the celery and a little bit of pepper. So. Looks like I missed it. I mean, peppercorns are okay to have in your meal. If you miss a few peppercorns, oh well, it's adds a little bit of heat, I find. If you have like a few, it's kind of what you would see in like, if we were to do a sit-down meal pizza or Boston pizza, they usually have like a jar of peppercorns. It's like, where's the bigger flakes for peppercorns or something? But yeah, most of these recipes that I'm going to be doing are, they're simple, not really that quick. There's a few that are, but most of the time they're going to take about an hour to cook or an hour to make, even when you do like this little shortcut. But I just want to make sure that this is all chopped up. I don't have to worry about these peppers. Okay. There we go. So yeah, how the episodes are going to be structured is it's going to be pretty well all uncut, except for when I'm doing like the baking or there's like a long cook time, and then I'll cut to the finished product. But other than that, it's all going to be uncut. So no scripts, no nothing, just me, camera, cooking, and having fun. Because that's what cooking is really all about. Having fun, experimenting, learning new ways of doing things. So there we go. So yeah. I wish this counter was a little taller for me. I don't want to bend over. Don't want to grab a chair because I don't want to sit down to this, because that's not a good thing when it comes to chopping. Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to make. So basically, what I'm going to be cooking for supper is what I'm actually going to be cooking for supper. But you guys will be seeing it in either one of the later episodes, or it might be the next episode. Actually, definitely not the next episode. First episode is definitely going to be the breakfast bowl. That one's going to be a fun one. Just trying to figure out. I'm hungry. You know what? I got an idea. Once I'm done this, I'll stop the camera so I can do one, and then tell you guys exactly what I'm having for supper. Next shot. So yeah, like I said, this is going to be uncut, so it's going to be one continuous stream of video. Oh, bit of a step back. But yeah, there. It's just it's a lot more fun when you have peppers that are like, well, this is a 5-1. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, it's a lot easier when you have quarters. So you just pop it right off. So you don't really have to worry about anything else. Just take a little bit of the green stuff off, just where the peppercorns are, that's it. like looking at the thing, I'm like trying to make sure that you can see everything that I'm doing. So I think these are pretty well, again, the same size. So another little tidbit while I'm thinking about it, especially when you're done chopping vegetables, make sure you sharpen your knives. And I'll probably show that after I'm done chopping them. So that's that, that's that. Step back to the... Yeah. And for those that are watching this and you don't really are comfortable, if you're not very comfortable with the knives, make sure you get an adult to do it. Or have adult supervision for those young folk that want to learn how to cook. All these recipes are easy enough a kid can make them with adult supervision. But yeah, I find these are user-friendly, they're healthy, they're hearty as hell, and really satisfying. This one, this will be pack number 3. Halfway done. So yeah, so that's basically everything for this video, including a little tip on how to keep your knives sharp. I always sharpen my knives afterwards, especially after cutting vegetables. So it does wear on the blade. And that way when you're using it again, the next time it's already sharp, ready to go. And I have 2 more big packs. Grand. There we go. So that's that one. This is this one. So yeah, this is totally a country kitchen. Keeps wanting to move, so so yeah, that's basically it for this. But yeah, it's a lot easier getting everything all pre-prepped, especially if you're doing like a month's worth of meals. Right, you don't have to worry about having to chop vegetables every meal. So you just throw it into the, take it out of the freezer, throw it in the pot or in the pan. Most of the time I steam my vegetables in the frying pan. It allows it to cook a little faster, and then you don't have to worry about any of that sort of stuff. You'll notice on all the recipes, especially in the spice section, it'll say to personal preference. What that says is I don't measure my spices. I just go with my gut feeling and go, okay, I think this is enough. So, not really recommended, but I find it's a little easier just to go with your gut feeling. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it all depends on how spicy or how flavorful you want your meal. But there is a thing as too much spice. So if that happens to you, then you just know to use less. Okay, half pepper. 1 half pepper left. Where's that? There's that. So that's the half. This means I go this way. Let's see how accurate I am on this. Some that are bigger, some that are smaller. That's right. Oh good, I'm almost done. Yay. But yeah, this is the meal prep. Before the meal prep. So yeah. There we go. So that's that. That's that. So big and small and then big and small. Good. Actually, let's do 2 bigs, 2 smalls with this one. So do this one for this, and then we can get the small packs finished. There we go. So but yeah, this is. Thought I'd do this while chopping vegetables anyways. Might as well show you guys how I do things. There we go. Okay, so let's rip it. Yeah, it's taken me years to actually move my knife like that. That piece because that's just all webbing. At least at this point I have music on, but don't feel like having music today. Almost done peppers, and then I just have the carrots and celery left. But yeah, it is a lot of work to get all this done. But it saves you time in the long run, so I kind of recommend doing this, especially if you plan out your meals monthly. It's a lot easier. So you already know what you're having. When your vegetables are already chopped, you just have to cut out or cook up your meat and such. So there. this peppercorn. So yeah. This pack will be almost done. So that one is almost done. So yeah, this is like the prep before the prep. This will make your life a lot easier in the end type thing. Yeah. Let's make sure that packs even. Can I see what it looks like on the other side of the knife? No. Just chop. As long as it doesn't cut my fingers, I'm fine. Some pieces in there need one more chop. That was too thin, so that would have guaranteed to burn. So yeah, I try and get my pieces and my slices as even as possible, but not lengthwise, or not bitwise. Okay, cool. So I have just the celery to do with these guys. I always like green pepper more than the colored peppers because they're a bit more hearty in terms of flavor. Well, in terms of bell peppers, the yellow and the green are usually the sour ones, and then the orange and the red ones are usually the sweet ones. The yellow and the orange are usually like the in-between stages. So one's like semi-sour, the other one's semi-sweet. So yeah, I'm just cutting the celery so they're about even in terms of size. I try to go as thin as I can, well, not like super thin, but as thin as I can with the celery because they're a bit more of a hearty vegetable. Very fibrous. So I kind of like make them a little bit smaller so that they cook about the same time as all the other vegetables. So yeah, trying to get them as thin as I can, but also trying to get them as evenly cut as I can. Okay, so prep bag number 1, like one. Probably gonna keep one for breakfast bowl because I do like my vegetables in it. So this bag here, what you want to do is mostly seal it. Kind of squish it till you get all the airs out. As I lay it on the cover, use it a little bit until it's a nice flat pack. So that one is going in the fridge. I'll definitely do the breakfast bowl tomorrow. It's a lot of prep, but it's a lot of good work. And when it comes to doing like hash browns or shredded potatoes, you want to do a 3-hour soak on them. Reason being is, first, they're covered in pesticides for 1. For 2, you want to get as much of the starch out as possible. So what I do is a 3-hour soak, but I separate it into three times. So I do one soaking, like the first soaking for an hour, the second soaking for another hour, and then the third one for an hour, for the last hour. And what that does is it releases the glyphosate, the pesticides that are in the potatoes. And then second soaking is usually where most of the starch comes out, and the third one is just to make sure that everything's out. So it would be like, it goes, first soaking usually turns the water red. I made like almost blood red, but clear. The second soaking is generally white, which is pretty well all the starch is coming out. And then the third one will have like, it'll be a little bit white. If it's still like totally white, then you might want to soak it for another hour, or do another 1-hour soak. And in between each soakings, you'll want to rinse them out before filling up the bottle, or fill up the bowl with water. I will be showing that live on when I actually do the breakfast bowl recipe, so you'll get to see what I do for the prep for that. So yeah, it's just a little tidbit I like telling people, especially if they love their hash browns. I mean, you could do the same thing with like doing regular hash browns or fresh hash browns or pan fries. But yeah, it's usually the best way to ensure that your potatoes aren't too starchy and they have all that nasty stuff out of them. Because honestly, you don't know where these potatoes are actually coming from. Whether they're no sprays or they're sprayed up till flowering, you don't know. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Okay, pack number 2. This one will definitely be going in the freezer. Again, pull tight, make sure there's no air, and then drop it on the counter, smooth it out until even. Okay, so that's number 1. That'll go in the freezer. Now I get to do this. So, carrot. So usually I chop about 1 inch. Sometimes a little less, and then I usually take about that much off of the butt end. Usually I can do this for it stands straight up. And then I do like a karate chop. Karate chops I'll chop in half. And the reason why I'm not peeling them, this is where most of the fiber is in the skin. That's why I don't peel my root vegetables at all. If they're like really bad, Like if they're ones that I know that are like totally sprayed, then I'll soak them for a little bit before chopping them. But if you have like the organic stuff, it's not as bad. You just have to scrub them a little bit, get the dirt off, and they're good to go. No need to peel them. Just like with potatoes, you don't really need to peel those either. I have carrots running away from me. No, stay. Stay, carrots, stay. So, especially this type of vegetable will wear down your knife. That's one thing I didn't mention earlier. Celery is a bit on the, well, it is very much on the fibrous side, and will mangle your knife a little bit. Unless you have like a vegetable cleaver lamp, you're fine, but you're fine-ish. But I don't have that, so I have to work with what I have, and this is what I have. But yeah, this is the quick meal prep before. The meal prep before the meal prep. With a little outline. Then you know. I suppose I'm probably rambling. Well, that's right. I don't mind. Because this is the kind of behind the scenes of how I'm doing everything, so. Things go on, they go on. Honestly, don't mind. Okay. It's getting a little bit fibrous. Okay. Pack number, number 3 now? It is basically ready. Again, making sure that there's no air in the pack. This also prevents freezer burn. I'm doing like a medium bag. Don't have to worry about, like, this is just a medium freezer bag, and medium freezer bag, and that's about the biggest you really want to go with your vegetable packs, especially for per meal basis. Set the tip. So yeah, root vegetables definitely will mangle your knife a little bit. There we go. So yeah, I always quarter my carrots and then go butt inside first and then start chopping. So yeah, this is this. So let's move the carrot over on this side because that's where all my dead vegetables are going. Okay, carrot, stay on the board, thank you. So yeah, seeing as these ones are pretty good so far. Usually I chop more off, but it depends on if I see any breaks or if there's any cracks higher up. And I'll Then I'll chop them a little bit. There. There we go. This one's what I want. See, I'm doing the carrots and the celery together, always a little faster. So I only have three more of each to do. So yeah, as you saw, the green pepper, or the small pack just has green pepper, celery, and onion. Usually put carrot in the packs, but this time around I decided to put the carrots, or put the carrots in all the big packs instead. Which is totally fine. So yeah. So there. Squeeze the carrot out. Make it even. And put it on top. This also helps with if you have like a small amount of freezer space. Putting all the air out and squishing them like that helps maximize the amount of packs that you can have in your freezer. I'm like, okay. Let's get this out here. There we go. But yeah, this is the fun part. Actually, not really. It's kind of the boring part, but I do want to show you exactly what I do when it comes to cooking. So you guys can go, oh, that's actually a good idea, or oh, I never thought of that, or you guys can definitely write in the comments what you guys think. This is going to be a mini series, so it's going to be like maybe 10 or so episodes. So you guys will be able to look at all these recipes that I've done over and over and kind of create your own from them. It's what I've done with most of my recipes. So I've based it off of other people's and going, okay, I like that, but what about this as an improvement? And like I said, that's a little wiggly worm thing. When I see that, that's when I know that it's completely fresh. I don't go and squirm when it comes to like worms or anything. Besides, that one was dried out, so it's not really. I've already rinsed this stuff off, so they're good to go. This one a little bit more. There we go. So yeah, that sometimes happens especially when you get fresh vegetables. That's why you always rinse them off before you start chopping. My board keeps moving away from me. But yeah, this is the heart of the tedious part. I enjoy doing this, especially at the beginning of the month. So, while I'm filming this is January that I'm doing this, and this show is coming out in February, so by the time you're seeing this, I would have had all the episodes filmed and ready to come out on every Friday. So it's going to be a once a week little cooking show particular channel is going to be non-potty stuff. Let's put it that way. So more life stuff and cooking and a bunch of other neat stuff. So look forward to that. Look forward to all this other amazing stuff in the near future. As well as in my first channel, I do have Question Corner coming out every other episode, or every other month. So there will be one out in February, and then another one in April. So yeah, I'm almost done this prep. I'm really happy that I'm almost done this prep because it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. And yes, I do chop a little bit more. I want my carrots to stand up because I find it's a lot easier when they're standing up to cut them in half than trying to chop them on the side where they're rolling away. Well, that's very dangerous. Goes that way and this goes this way. There we go. Fine, you go that way then. Fucking with carrots here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is basically it. So this is done. I have my sink all ready to go to wash my dishes, wipe my counters off, and get prepped for cooking. Alright, let's move all these guys over here. And I really like these. I like these bamboo cutting boards. They're fantastic. Although when it comes to cutting meat, you want to use either a glass one or plastic, because raw meat and wood don't exactly mix together, especially if you guys are squeamish about salmonella. Salmonella will thrive on wood. That's why I do all my vegetables on bamboo, and then I'll switch over to like plastic if I need to do raw meat. There we go. So I feel like one more carrot and celery to do, and that's it. Oh, I'm on my last 2 packs. I'm so glad this is almost all done. I am really glad. So yeah, got my bag of compost. I mean, if you guys do have a composter, this is a great way of throwing your compost away. Another good thing that you could do with this is throw it in a pot with water and create your own create your own base, or your own vegetable broth. That's what I meant to say. I can tell I haven't eaten all day. That's the other thing I normally do when it comes to this stuff, is on top of doing healthy cooking like this, I do a thing called intermittent fasting. So that's going for like 18, 20 hours of nothing but drinking water, really, or having your electrolytes. Like, for me, I kind of have to do that because that in between type 1 and type 2, like I have symptoms of both, not just type 1. But yeah, intermittent fasting definitely is a good thing, especially for those that are diabetic. Even if you're type 2, intermittent fasting is definitely a way to get your sugars under wraps, as well as cutting the amount of refined carbs down to between 25 and 50 grams a day. Not a meal, a day. I learned that the hard way. I'm like, why are my sugars still going up? I'm doing 25 grams. And then watch videos, I'm like, oh, okay. I have this natural path guy that does, he puts science behind natural path way of life, so it's like, oh, this, when it comes to carbs, or refined carbohydrates, refined foods, period, it's usually between 20 and 50 grams, 25 to 50, depending on your body. But yeah, doing 25 to 50 grams of carbs a day is a really, really good thing. And when I say carbs, I'm not counting vegetables. Because vegetables, they're carbohydrate. Some of it will turn into sugar, but for the most part, it's just fiber. So it kind of feeds the bacteria in your gut. It's the good bacteria. So you don't exactly have like indigestion or all that sort of stuff. Another good thing is doing, like, finding yogurt that has active live cultures. That will give you your pre and probiotics. As I'm slowly found out, like, over the course of a couple of years, that, oh yeah, the yogurt I've been using, which is the Balkan yogurt, as long as it has active live cultures, you're good to go. You don't have to get the bacteria or those ones that are specified, or that say, oh yeah, we have active live cultures. No, you don't need that. You just need something that's unpasteurized, that's got the active live cultures, and you're good to go. Because that'll help with your gut flora to be more diverse. Allow your immune system to get a little stronger as well, which I find is a big thing. I personally am vouching for that because I haven't had a cold or flu for almost 2 years. Well, yeah, just about 2 years. Last one was in 2020. Figured just before the whole rigmarole started. But yeah, I haven't had a cold since, but that's mainly because of what I'm eating, how I'm eating, what I'm cooking. That's a big part of it. So I got all my vegetables chopped up. So you see, all my packs. That will all go in the freezer. Oh my god. That was a lot of work. A lot of prep. Hope you guys enjoyed this behind the scenes thing. I'm just washing up my last little bit of dishes, and then I will see you guys in the next episode. that. This is a lot of fun. Okay, it was a little boring probably for your end, but it was a lot of fun for me. Love. Oh, right. Before I forgot. Let's move that over here. Said I was going to show you guys. I have this little thingy, I think it's from Cuisinart or some company. Anyways, you got a coarse end and you got a fine end to do, especially if you have these guys, is you push the evenly push the blade and then you slowly, let's wet the blade first and then let's do this. Because this is basically it's basically a whetstone. I usually do like 3 or 4 of the coarse and then I go over to the fine, but I make sure and put even pressure with the blade. Now I do the fine. And this way it keeps the blade nice and sharp, you don't have to worry about it, especially after you've done vegetables. And wetting the blade just helps it move across the sharpener a lot faster. More. This should do it. There we go. So yeah, very sharp. Then after that, you just rinse your blade to make sure that the little bits of metal are off. Here's my towel. Then you just dry it off. And that way, the blade stays sharp after you dry, or after you cut your vegetables. We'll recommend getting one of these or getting an actual sharpening tool. I like that one because it's convenient. Anyways, catch you in the next one. Well, that's pretty much it for this behind the scenes look at how I normally do things. Hope it was somewhat enjoyable and educational. Look forward to the first episode of Eclipse Kitchen. Here's where you could find me and my counterpart. Follow us on Twitter and join our Facebook group where you'll get regular updates on what's going on. Subscribe to this channel and our main channel to see all the wonderful content we'll bring to you. And last but not least, become a Patreon and donate to our coffee to show your support for more content like this and more. You all have a great day.